Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. If you guys like looking for undervalued investment opportunities, click subscribe. I usually go over a whole bunch. And if that interests you, definitely subscribe. Join our channel, join our community. Let's ride this commodity bull market higher. Today, I'm going to go over a technical analysis of gold and silver. I like doing this on a frequent basis so you guys kind of understand how to read charts yourselves. I mean, this is just financial education. It's not advice. You guys can take the information and use it whichever way you want, but it's not intended for advice, just education. So I'm going to go into gold and silver, do some technical analysis, and give you just my opinions. So let's jump into it. So I've got the gold price up top here. Gold was up. I did this a little bit before market close, but this is where it was at today. It was up a little bit today, so that's not too bad. So I'm going to jump right into technical analysis. This is GLD. And what we always notice is I drew this line in where a whole bunch of contact points are. We call that a trend line or support line. We broke out, we came back, and we're basically testing the support line right now. So we broke out and we're doing a back test or retest. So, I mean, it's normal to do this, and it looks like it's holding at the moment. If we start to see this thing kind of go back and forth and head higher, I would be a buyer at that point. But right now, I'm just waiting to see what happens. There is a lot of momentum in this sell-off here, and we could come up, close the gap, and roll back over. I don't think so because we've got this nice big break. I think this is going to be a retest and move higher from here. That's my guess. Here's SLV. I didn't really draw anything in. I didn't see clear trend lines. I mean, there's one through here, and it kind of came up, rolled over. That's not really telling of anything. You could almost say that this was a false breakdown and then started to move up higher and ran into a bunch of resistance. I don't have too much to say about SLV, silver itself. GDX, painting the same picture as GLD. You draw the trend line in. Usually GLD, SLV, or gold and silver follow the moves of some of these ETFs or the mining companies. So the mining companies move first, and then the physical prices move second. Again, this just looks like a back test to me, back test, retest, and we may move around a little bit down here for a little bit before moving higher. And what you're going to see is this is the general theme across a lot of different ETFs. GDXJ is the same thing. This is a retest. I like buying on these retests, and then I just hold on. So I think it's a good buying opportunity if you guys want to partake in it, or you can wait a little bit and see if we actually move up higher. If you want a little bit lower risk, buy it into strength as we come off this retest. So right now it's still kind of finding a bottom, or it's putting one in right now. Same with SILJ. This is a nice, good support trend line down here, and we just pulled back. And it looks like we're contracting in the opening and closing price of the day, which means that the candlestick body length contracts, which means that the buyers are starting to equal the sellers and the momentum is slowing down, which is an indication of a turning point. EXK still in an uptrend. Doesn't look too bad. Mag Silver, it did hit its head on its upper, we'll call this kind of a megaphone type pattern. So it could kind of come down or move sideways for a little bit before trying to break out again. So you might need to give it some time. First Majestic Silver, it's still above this support line here. We've got, a couple hits here and a couple hits back here. Strong support right underneath it. We're putting a little wick on the bottom here. Usually that little wick means that it could be a potential reversal day where we come back up. So that's looking pretty good. Wheaton Precious Metals is already making that turn, putting in a hammer pattern with the wick on the bottom. So we had some selling pressure and then it reversed higher. So I think that looks pretty good. Not a bad spot if you like Wheaton Precious Metals. Franco-Nevada is showing strength as well off the 50-day moving average. We've got Osisko Gold Royalties. I do like this one from a very big chart pattern perspective. You draw it all the way across. You've got a nice big line coming across through here. It broke out and it kind of comes back. And then we could see this thing move on higher. So I like buying on these little pullbacks in here. Even right here is probably not too bad. If you want to cost average in, maybe it comes back up. Maybe it comes a little bit lower or sideways. but I like to slowly cost average in. Here's Ely Gold. Now, Ely Gold got bought out by Gold Royalty Corp. That's a potential merger. And I like Ely Gold. It's a small royalty company. It was up 21.5% today, roughly. Big old volume. But the merger is fine. I'll probably just hold through it. I don't see anything wrong with it. And usually the acquiree gets they're going to pay a premium. The other company's going to pay a premium for this and entice them to sell. So they're getting the premium, and Gold Royalty obviously goes down. They usually get a sell-off because they have to either dilute shares or use their cash. But either way, I'm going to hold through it. And I think potentially Gold Royalty, it's going into another royalty company. I'm just going to hold through it. That's my course of action here. Teuton Resources, we've got nice, good support down here. Looks like we're putting in close to a bottom. I'm probably going to add a little bit more here if I start seeing some strength. I do like Teuton Resources. It's a royalty company in the Golden Triangle, and they own a large stake in all those. Well, they own the royalties in that area on a lot of different properties. They also own a good stake in Tudor Gold's area that they're looking in. So they own a 20% stake on the one that Tudor's looking at. Here is Sandstorm Gold. Again, we're getting this kind of slight up movement. Is this the bottom? It's tough to say. I mean, if it depends on what you guys want. If you're an investor and you're a long-term holder, I like to sprinkle and cost average in. I would buy today. If I was a short-term trader, I would wait for strength to come back up and buy into strength. We still have a lot of downside momentum here. See this big sell-off candlestick in the volume? This could see further downside. So I like to be slow in my movements. I like to slowly cost average in, and we could still see downside. Discovery Silver is holding on by a thread. We are kind of breaking out to the downside here. Will this pop back up? We'll have to see tomorrow. But if this comes back down, we may have a little bit more, a larger pullback and a little bit more time below this chart pattern. And it may take weeks or months to kind of consolidate for a little while. What I like about Discovery Silver, and I know some people, they'll say, oh, it's not valued as well as some of the other ones. As the price of silver goes up, their resources expand that are mineable in the ground because they're a low ore grades, so to speak. Their parts per million are quite low compared to some other ones. But if the price continues to go up, their reserve base goes up. That's recoverable, and it can go up dramatically. And that's what I like about Discovery, because it's basically a high cost, increasing reserves company that is going to be creating a mine out of it. So I want those reserves, and I want that leverage to the price of silver. That's why I like it. Here's Impala Platinum. Switching gears to platinum a little bit. This still looks like it's in a pullback mode. I would not be jumping in yet. What I see is 2 large down days, which is a lot of momentum, and the buyers have not stepped in here. And I don't see any clear indication of a bottoming pattern. So I'm going to be holding tight. Same with Platinum Group Metals. I'm holding tight until I see a reversal day. And same with Anglo-American Platinum. These platinum companies, I'm just holding off. I don't see that turn yet. So I'm historically too early to buy. And right now, I think it's a little too early. I'm going to wait a little bit. And again, this is just me. This is not financial education. You guys can do what you want. As an investor, you can take this a little bit different and kind of sprinkle money in. I also do that approach as well. If you're a trader, I would not be trading into weakness. I would wait until this bottoms out, have that clear turn, see the strength moving up, and then I would invest. But right now, there is still weakness. It's trying to put in a bottom. We're just starting to see the buyers start to equal the sellers in the candlestick body size. That's the opening price and the closing price. So when you have good momentum, what happens if you have a bunch of sellers, your opening price is going to stay there and your closing price will become huge, and your candlestick will be a big candlestick body. When momentum slows down, your candlestick body lengths contract over time, and your opening and closing prices start to equal each other, which means the buyers and sellers are starting to equal each other throughout the day. And that's exactly what we look for. We look for contraction. We look for reversal candlestick patterns. We look for wicks on the bottom that's showing a reversal. I haven't seen it in some of these companies. Other companies are exhibiting it. So I like to kind of wait a little bit and buy into strength instead of buying into weakness, because weakness means that their sellers are still there and they can jump in this market any time and try to push it back down, and we might get a little bit better buying opportunity. That's what I'm looking at. And if you're a big long-term investor and you don't really care about this stuff, I can understand that. Just slowly cost average in, and you don't have to worry about this trying to read the charts and trying to mess around with anything. You see a pullback, you buy the pullback, you add some in, and do it maybe every couple of days, or every 20 cents down, you add a little bit of money. It can be that easy. Depends what strategy you want to deploy. I use all of them. I would say that I'm an average to above average chart reader in comparison to good chart readers, if that makes sense. I'm not excellent, but I'm not bad. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.